I think anyone who puts Wi-Fi into a school should be locked up for the rest of their life. I really do. I think they're not fit to walk on the surface of this planet because they haven't looked at the research, and whatever incentive they have, it is not worth the genetic problems that parents are going to face with their children when they're born.
France has banned Wi-Fi in nursery schools and put warnings out for regular schools because they're finding there's impaired learning capacity in children when they're around Wi-Fi. And they have to put up warning signs where they put Wi-Fi transmitters.
When I got sick and I learned that they're putting Wi-Fi in the schools in Israel, I was very sick at the time, but I could not tolerate the thought that children in the schools will be respondents. I submitted a Supreme Court case in Israel to ban the use of Wi-Fi in the schools and replace them with wired network. The 4 top diseases that kill our children, our young adults right now, are brain tumors, thyroid cancer, testis cancer, rectal cancer, everywhere we put our cell phones. And a lot of our children are sick and they're being misdiagnosed and mistreated because the wireless industry has put billions and billions of dollars in the past 30 years to mislead the public as to the health effects and keep the public uninformed.
We are performing an experiment on children. We are exposing children to microwave radiation for 6 hours during every school day. We have had absolutely no studies looking at the long-term effects of this radiation on young people or even on adults.
A considerable amount of research shows that developing brains and bodies of children are much more affected than adults. And there are clear indications of a link between increased electromagnetic fields and autism spectrum disorders.
We took 10 autistic children and went back to the sleeping location where the mother was when she was pregnant with that child and compared it with the sleeping location of a mother that gave birth to healthy children. We had 10 mothers in that group, 10 mothers in this group, and in the group of the autistic children, we found that the measurements that we got for the microwave exposure was elevated compared to the group of children that were normal. The fetus is affected. The exposure to man-made electromagnetic fields has become the first factor that could be isolated ever in autism that could predict autism.
The 5th generation of wireless technology, or 5G as it's...
Okay, smart technology, smart meters, smart cars, not that smart, huh? What does smart mean?
Anything that has smart attached to it, secret militarized armaments in residential technology. That's where smart came from. And smart, every bit of technology that you see today has all been developed for either some type of battlefield, some type of intelligence gathering system, and obviously these developments have to be commercialized and people have actually took them into their homes.
The definition of a smart grid is a wireless system that will fundamentally turn every single appliance in your home into the equivalent of a transmitting cell phone. That's every computer, every television, every furnace, every air conditioner, every coffee machine, every printer, every single appliance that you have in your house will eventually, in a smart grid, have an antenna that's embedded into it that will transmit your usage data to a smart meter on the outside of your home that will then transmit your usage data to another tower receiving that usage signal that will then go to the utility company for supposedly billing purposes. Not all signals will just be about your individual use. There will be aggregate meters that will bounce signal from house to house to house within a neighborhood that will then accumulate all of the usage data that will transmit that to the utility company. Now, what that will do is that the end metering system that is transmitting all of that data will be firing an RF signal at many, many times a second, which will increase the average homeowner's radio frequency radiation exposure exponentially.
You know, these people were elected by us to manage our infrastructure in a responsible manner. That is the sole purpose of government if it's going to exist at all. And if it doesn't do that, then it has no right. It is invalid. So we need to pull this infrastructure down. We really do. But in order to do that, I mean, we can't just be some violent domestic terrorist. You've got to bring this awareness to the people that these towers are doing them damage. You don't need bandwidth that fast. And they're not doing it so you can download movies quickly. They're doing it so they can track every single thing you do and bring in this social crediting system to control even everything you think.
Apple introduced its new wireless AirPods, billed as the future of headphones with infrared sensors and a new W1 chip. No port needed.
Makes no sense to tether ourselves with cables to our mobile devices.
But Joel Moskowitz of the School of Public Health at UC Berkeley disagrees.
Why would one want to put a microwave emitting device in one's ear right next to one's brain?
He says along with several hundred other scientists, he always recommends wired devices whenever possible.
We don't have any research to determine that long-term exposure to low-intensity microwave radiation is safe. And we do have research which shows these kinds of exposures can open the blood-brain barrier.
Something he says can lead to neurodegenerative disease, even cancer. And while the FCC says low levels of radiation emitted by devices like Bluetooth earbuds are safe, Moskowitz says animal studies show
you can see the effects even at very low intensity exposure.
Let me explain the principle of a microwave oven. It works on a Klystron tube, which is a vibratory sound emission light machine, and it brings out water that's heated. The reason why the plate is cold and the food is hot is because the food has moisture, and the moisture is now heated with radiation, and you eat it as heat. And you're eating pure, raw radiation every time you take it hot. How long do you think you can do that before your body pays? Not long at all. And most of your bodies are already paying because you are eating it. To go along, as we said, with the bad water, with the bad air, with genetic modified food, the chemtrails, and then you go and you get a shot. Not a booze, a vaccine, an inoculation. You haven't gone through enough hell, now you gotta go get pus stuck in underneath your skin so you won't get pus.
Hi, I'm Holly Mannion from the Green Team and the Radiation Roulette blog. I'm in the kitchen and I'd like to tell you a little bit about your microwave. First of all, I have my radio frequency meter with me. I have it in the on position. I have a microwave here and some food in it. I'm going to close the microwave and watch what happens. I should say, listen to what happens. Wow, that's a lot of radiation leaking. And it's still leaking out this far. I want to turn it off before I get cooked as well as the food in the oven. Anyway, the best advice I can give you is to get rid of the microwave oven. Every microwave oven leaks electromagnetic radiation, harms food, and converts food